Good evening, ma'am. My name is Bimaljit Kaur, and here I would like to present the assignment second, which is on a DVWA application. DVWA is a German Venerable web application designed for learning purposes, security professionals to access the abilities and their skills to find out the vulnerabilities in the application. So this is our assignment, and in which we have to find out five vulnerabilities. The first vulnerability is the SQL injection. An attacker can manipulate the queries that their application sends to the database by using the SQL injection, a widely exploited and prevalent online application vulnerability. So in the SQL injection, we to exploit the this SQL injection vulnerability, the first step is to log in into DVW application and click on the SQL injection. So it shows the page with the input field, which has the input field user ID. After putting the user ID as one, it shows the result on the screen with the ID and the name and the surname. There are five users. The first one is the admin. The second one is the Gordon, Hack, Pablo, and the Bob. So we have to find out the user ID and password. We put the user ID as or one equals to one hash. So we have the screen, which is this is the screenshot, which we can find out the total all five users on the screen. So in this, we have the recommendations that when using parameterized queries, use prepared statements. This will guarantee that the data and the SQL code are kept apart. Employ stored procedures to further assist in separating data and the SQL code, and review and update the security measures on regular basis. So these are the risk analysis in which the potential damage and the all the vulnerabilities are on the high type. So this is our first vulnerability. The second one is the command injection. In the command injection, it is also the common vulnerability in the DVW application. So in this, we can after login to the page DVW, we have to find out the second vulnerability. So we scroll down the command injection, and when we clicking on the command injection, we have this pinger device visible on the screen, in which we have the input field, which shows that enter an IP address. We After putting the value of the IP address, which is 127.0.2.14, so we got the following result as on the screen. We got this, and in this vulnerability, the potential damage and the affected users are the high, and the other one is on the medium. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Hi ma'am, my name is Simranjit Kaur and today I would like to discuss about brute force attack and excessive storm attack. So the brute force attack occurs when an attacker attempts to guess like username and password credentials until they gain unauthorized access to an account. So if I'm talking about the vulnerability, so it's like insufficient security measures that allows attackers to make like multiple logging attempts into the application. So, like, there are some recommendations. Like, first one is the enforce complex password requirements. Second one is the implement account logged mechanism after a certain number of failed login attempts and use MFA, like also two-factor authentication, like multi-factor authentication to add an extra layer of a security. So here is some risk analysis. Brute force attacks have a high potential damage as they can result in unauthorized access. So also they are also relatively easy to launch and can impact on a large number of users. However, the exploitability and discoverability of this vulnerability are considered medium. So in this case, it's considered as a medium as attacker need to find the correct combination of credentials. So here is like we have to select the username and a password, and this is a payload for the brute force attackers and got the username and the password, and after this we got a successfully login into the applications. And next one is the XSS tone. Here is like cross-site scripting. XSS is a vulnerability that allows like attackers to inject script into web pages viewed by others users. And the what is the vulnerability in this? So exploiting the document object model like DOM to execute a script. So here are some like recommendations for this XSS DOM. Like first we have clean and sanitize user input before using in the DOM. So use context security policy, that is a CSP, to restrict which resources can be loaded and extended. And here are some risk analysis. Excessive DOM attacks can cause medium potential damage as they allow attackers to execute script in the victim's browsers. The difficulty level of the discovering the vulnerability is like medium in this case, but once discovered, it is highly reproducible. So here are some screenshots of which we have done. Like this is a pop-up model, like XSS, DOM XSS, like in the local host. Here is a script is added to the URL, and a result is that is a pop-up model on the screen. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Now.
Ah, Okay, myself Supreme Singh. I am the third member of this group. Today we are discussing about the assignment number two, and let's continue further. Let's talk about the XSS DOM. An attacker can exploit a web application's cross-site scripting document object model vulnerability by inserting maniples scripts that are then run in the victim's browser. In this DOM, there is a selected button in which there are four options to choose the language. By default, select language English is shown in the URL of the browsers already. So recommendations, there are some recommendations before using this project or the and this perhaps how it, before using user input in DOM manipulation routines, make sure it has been cleaned and confirmed through data checking and the sanitizing the methods. Point number two, by specifying which resources are typically permitted to be loaded or executed, developers can utilize a strict CSP to restrict the capability of DOM XSS attacks. So there are a number of risk analyzing which we are representing in the table form. So vulnerabilities and type. After that, we can see there are a number of screenshot that we attach in our assignments to show the actual thing of X DOM. To explore the vulnerability, you have to script alert and then added the URL. As a result, new pop-up is shown on the screen that you can easily see that. Okay, then the further access reflected. One type of online vulnerability where the compromised controls are introduced in the web applications is called proxy reflected XSS. These settings reflect back to the users any molecules codes that are used by the attackers. When a molecules pop-up script is clicked by the user, it has the ability to run the arbitrary, arbitrary codes in the context of the browser and that reveal the private information, such as the session hijacking. These are there are some recommendations for you before using input DOM manipulations or routines. Make sure it has been cleaned and confirmed through the data checking and the sanitizing method. The same again before one. Okay, so there are also some screenshots that we can see. After that, the point number. Okay, the third is the stored. Consistent cross-site scripting vulnerabilities occur when users applied what data is saved by the program without the necessary security and then used and shown to the other users without the necessary security. This allows attacker to accomplish their objects of inserting malicious script into the application, which runs as the user running at that moment rather than the application's creator or the owner. So there's also we are attaching some screenshots, so you can see that, and these are the assignment number 2. So you can that is in front of you. So if you have any query or question, you can contact me by on my email. And my email is satnamsingh2479 @constoga.ona.ca. Thank you. Have a good day.